Okay, we're with Matt Curtis and Will Hawks at the London Beer City launch here tonight at the new Mother Kelly's in South London, in Vauxhall.
Yeah.
Guys, great night, packed in there, loads of people. Tell us a little bit about London Beer City. What's going on?
Well, Will started it 4 years ago, so I think...
Yeah, I mean, my aim has always been to celebrate the diversity in London beer scene. Variety of events, variety of breweries, variety of pubs, whatever. It's all about some of the small guys, some of the bigger guys, but also just trying to promote good beer and celebrate good beer in the city, because for a while, you know, things looked pretty bad and we've had a great renaissance. So that's what London Beer City is about.
Okay, now I'm going to get straight into it. On the show last week, I was a little bit apprehensive about the programme.
I heard.
Because it wasn't doing much for me. So this is an opportunity really for you guys to really sell it to me this year. What are the events that I should really be looking out for as part of this year's event?
Well, I think it's a fantastic schedule. We consciously decided to scale down the amount of events, didn't we, Will?
Yeah.
Because we had... Well, just to be clear, this is my first year involved with London Beer City. Will and I started chatting in January about how he wanted to make London City a bit bigger, and so we actually pulled on a committee, and it's not just me and Will. It's Doreen Joy Barber from the 5 Points, it's Jen Merrick, brewer, formerly of Beavertown, and it's Anselm Chatwin of Graceland, and you probably drink in his pubs, the King's Arms, the Black Heart, Earl of Essex, the Axe, and the Mermaid. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So it's the 5 of us, and so we sort of formed a committee in sort of March time, and then we've been having meetings and probably started properly planning it May-ish, probably a little later than we'd like, but it's all come good. But yeah, events-wise, for me, right, actually, there's a few things that like a bit wild-cardy. There's a few things. The Crate Brewery having a festival of fermentation right at the end of the week, and that is a celebration of not just beer but cider, natural wine, things like they make kombucha, like fermented tea at Crate. They have their own brand, basically anything fermented.
Yeah.
So Jen Merrick's actually been instrumental in sort of getting that as part of London Beer City. For people who are into mindful drinking, low and no alcohol beers, Club Soda having a festival right at the end, which is just something totally different. But beer-wise, we've got other half coming to the Axe. I mean, they're coming to the London Craft Beer Festival. I mean, and to be fair, the two main events at London Beer City, which is why Will chose this week originally, are GBBF and now the London Craft Beer Festival. And Will might want to elaborate on this, but it's... People are coming to London from all over the UK for these festivals.
And around the world.
And around the world. And
yeah,
you know.
GBBF.
Especially for
GBBF.
for a long time, hasn't it?
Why not give them a city full of beer events while that's happening? And we have a bar at Will explain how that came about probably. We have a bar at the GBBF this year. But yeah, other half...
A London Beer City bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I wanted to pick up from your show is you were talking about there's not enough tap takeovers. There's actually 23 tap takeovers now. Unfortunately, the Thornbridge one you mentioned, it's actually happening the week before due to a logistical error.
Miscommunication.
But Siren are taking over one of the craft beer co's.
Yeah, for the whole week. Yeah.
For the whole week. We've got Marble at the Duke's Head and latterly Electric Bear. There's a Welsh takeover at the Star of Bethnal Green. There's a Kent and Sussex takeover, and these are cask beers you can only usually get in Kent and Sussex. Really great stuff.
There's some great breweries down there. You don't see like Breakwater from Dover.
Yeah.
You know, for example, Gads in Thanet.
Yeah.
You know, would be great beers at these tap taker events. I think you mentioned like what events am I particularly looking forward to. I think Kent and Sussex. I come from Kent, so for me, there's lots of great breweries down there now, and it's great to see them coming up. But hopefully, we'll smash Sussex out of sight. You know, and the other one is I'm really looking forward to going to Hawksmoor for the Brew by Numbers dinner.
Oh yeah,
fantastic.
And to be fair, that's 30 quid, and I thought it was going to be a 50 quid ticket. And I know you talk about price, but a meal for two at Hawksmoor is rarely less than 100 quid. So that's 30 quid ticket for
breakfast is really less than that.
For beer and food at Hawksmoor. So that's but in
we've got to mention the closing party.
Oh yes. Oh,
16th, the closing party on the 12th.
I thought you said
of
clothing for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, different party.
I know there's lots of beer and things at the moment, but
Beer
I
and
didn't
clothing.
think we're quite got to that.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure
It's only a
people-
matter of
people
time.
come up that
Wait,
soon.
wait
Yeah.
for year 5.
yeah. The closing party on Saturday the 12th.
16 different London breweries.
Yep.
Picked by basically by me and Dorian, our favourite ones. Some, I mean, obviously we've got more than 16 favourites, but those are the ones that we chose. Some great food, some great tasting sessions, which are focused on Bermondsey, Hackney, and Tottenham, which are the 3 big areas of London beer at the moment. Music, the lot, £8, first pint included. You know, it's a bargain.
And where's that taking place?
It's at the 5 Points warehouse
Oh,
in
okay.
Mare Street.
Oh, so
12 to
they're
8.
because didn't they used to kick off the?
Last year we did, but we switched around this year. London Craft Festival's at the start, and
Yeah.
we have a closing party at the end.
Yeah. So the opening party's free. That's at Mason and Company on Thursday the 3rd. We've moved that forward a day so that everyone can go to the trade session on Friday to the London Craft Beer Festival.
Best of British beer at Mason and Co that year, that night. So there'll be, you know, all the best breweries from around the UK will have beers on the bar that year, that night, and it'll be a fantastic event.
And,
a
they're,
fantastic
and
vibe.
they're actually going to transform into a Yorkshire takeover for the rest of the week.
I saw that one appeals to me.
Yeah, so I don't know if you know, but Ed Mason, who owns the 5 Points and Mason and Co, also owns Whitelocks and the Turk's Head in Leeds, which is Whitelocks is, as you go to Leeds, it's one of the best pubs in the country. But they're going to give it a very different places, but they're going to try and give it a bit of a
I think
Yorkshire
that's a
vibe.
real thing about this year in London City. You've got Marble, who are coming, you know, the archetypal Manchester microbrewery are coming down to take over, you know, your pub in North London. So, you know, we've got a couple of pubs in West London that are taking West Country beers. We've got Dean Swift, Kent, Sussex. So, you know, we've got international. We've got New Zealand, Australia, Scandinavia, USA embassies, and we've got embassies from around the UK as well.
Which pub's got all the great beers from Essex?
Well, maybe
You don't have to answer that.
Maybe you can organise that next
Yeah,
year.
next
Maybe
year.
you can organise that next year. Why not?
Well,
Why
it would
not?
literally be it could be literally a takeover.
It could, yeah. Okay, so talking of next year, where do you? I'm assuming it's going to happen again.
Yeah.
Where do you go with it from now? Because there are now a lot of beer weeks, aren't there, up and down the country?
Yeah.
What are you going to do to kind of really set London apart from everything else?
I think it's going to get bigger and better. I mean, we've got a really strong team organising it now. Difficulty for me before was I was on my own. Lots of people helped me, but basically the buck stopped with me, and it was a lot of work. But now there's 5 people, you know, and I think, you know, in that team, people like Doreen, for example, to pick out not entirely at random, has incredible skills in a number of areas.
She's in
and
charge
she's
of London
really,
beer.
really improved. I mean, she is. I don't know.
She's the boss.
I don't know,
Well,
I don't know what 5 points are paying her, but it isn't enough.
We were
you know?
talking about it earlier. It's so well involved, aren't they? Especially
Yeah.
Dorian as well.
Yeah. I
So
think
well involved in the London beer scene.
I think for me, in terms of where I'd like to see London Beer City go and how we grow it, is you talk about all these different beer weeks around the country, and I feel that we get the glove, the finger pointed at us. It says that London's very London-centric. Well, of course we are. We live in London and we love the city, just as Mancunians love Manchester and people in Yorkshire love Leeds and so on and so forth. I'd actually like to
Not
connect.
everyone in Yorkshire loves Leeds.
Okay, that's, well, I like Leeds.
It's half the people throwing tank at their podcast there.
I'd like to connect with other beer weeks and see them do like pop-up events within the beer weeks.
Oh,
I think that's the best way for these beer weeks to grow is to work together.
I think it'd be great. I mean, you think of the way, you know, in tennis you've got four great tournaments. In cycling you've got the Grand Tours.
Yeah.
You know, if we could have some sort of link up with Manchester and Leeds and Sheffield and Bristol, you know, Birmingham, you know, to work together and to promote, you know, in London, we're here to promote beers from those cities and have them involved. That would be great.
Yeah,
Really great.
And the thing is, we actually all know each other really well. You know, I know Stephen in Bristol, I know Connor in Manchester, I know Matt in Leeds, I know Jules in Sheffield. It's not like it's people doing things randomly. The beer world is all interconnected and very small, and we all know each other. So if you're listening, guys, let's talk and let's work together next year and make everyone's beer week bigger. Let's pull people from all over the world.
Ultimate collaboration.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
We've got grand ideas, probably 2 grand. But
maybe get this year out of the
well,
way
I
first.
think what I'd like to
Aspiration.
I think you say you're missing the X factor. I I think we've got that X factor, and you know, something like the Other Half Takeover. It's truly incredible beer coming over, and for beer geeks, that's amazing. But we've also got things that are great for. We want it to be for everyone, and obviously we've got events that reach out to what we see as the mainstream drinker. But we think we've got plenty of fodder for the hardened beer lover as well. You know. My event with Marble will be.
This is
will
where
have some,
me and Steve were
good
slightly
stuff.
at odds. You're looking to attract not just people like us already. Anyway, surely it's about bringing other people into the fold, especially during the summer season in London.
Yeah,
is there an element of that as well?
Oh, of course.
We don't want to be too inward looking.
Yeah.
We want people who don't necessarily, and will probably never be like massive beer geeks,
Yeah.
to come and enjoy, you know, and have a taste of some great beer, maybe an event that involves something else they're interested in, whether that be food or music or you know, fermentation in the case of crate. You know, we want to attract those people and for them to enjoy themselves. You know, I mean, for me, I've always wanted it to be a fun event for people to come to and to have a great time.
Okay, so where do people go to find out all the information?
LondonBeerCity.com, or you can pick up a programme in all of the best bars, breweries and pubs around town.
Okay, fantastic. I'm going to let you guys get back to the launch. Thanks for giving us a
Great.
little bit
Yeah,
of your
thanks
time.
for your time, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Cheers.